From the fact that Scar's actual body shows up in another Disney movie, to the two characters who were quietly Simba's parents the whole time, today we're breaking down 10 Lion King secrets nobody talks about. But first, if you grew up with this movie, drop a lion emoji. And if Scar's the best Disney villain ever made, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Number 1. Hercules is wearing Scar. In Disney's Hercules, there's a moment where Hercules poses for a vase painting wearing a lion skin over his head. It's a reference to Greek myth. Hercules killed the Nemean lion and wore its hide. Now look at that pelt. Dark mane, reddish face, narrow features, green eyes, and a mark above the left eye. That's Scar. And this isn't a fan reading. Andreas Deja supervised the animation on both characters. He animated Scar in The Lion King, then went to Hercules. He has said outright that the pelt is Scar, that the story department came up with it, and that he signed off on the joke. Watch what Hercules does next. He takes it off and throws it on the floor, face up, which pays off a line from 3 years earlier. Zazu, stuck in a corner with Scar, mutters that he'd make a very handsome throw rug. Scar dies in a fire. His body is never shown. Number 2. In the original ending, Scar burns alive, and the way he actually died was much worse than what we got. The fight was storyboarded very differently. Simba and Scar go at it on a burning pride rock, and Scar wins the first half. He claws Simba across the face hard enough to knock him flat, walks toward him and gloats.
"This is just the way your father looked before he died."
Simba kicks him off and Scar tumbles to the base of the rock, and then he begs. He calls up for help, and when Simba hesitates, Scar plays the card that works. So Simba reaches down and pulls him up to safety. The second Scar is on solid ground, throws him off the rock into the fire below, and then he stands there, alone at the top of a burning pride rock, laughing, and the flames take him. Too dark, obviously, but the franchise never quite let it go. The Lion Guard later states that Scar was burned alive. Number 3. Ed knows. He's in a movie now to the character everyone writes off. Ed is the hyena who doesn't talk. He laughs, he drools, he stares into space, and the joke is that there's nothing going on in there. Watch him during Be Prepared. Scar's in the middle of insulting the hyena's intelligence, standing right next to Ed, whose blank face is doing a lot of work to support the point. Then Ed turns and winks straight down the lens, at us, not at another character. There's nobody there. And according to Alex Cooperschmidt, the animator who worked on him, that's exactly what it is. The director's take on Ed was that he understood everything and was pretending to be an idiot. Once you know, watch him again. And at the very end, when the hyenas decide what to do with Scar, the other two look to Ed, and his laugh is what settles it. He isn't the stupid one. He's the one who was listening. Number 4. Mufasa had a song. There's a Mufasa song you have never heard, and it was fully written and recorded. It's called To Be King. Elton John wrote the music, Tim Rice wrote the lyrics, and it was built for the sequence where Mufasa teaches Simba what the job actually is. Mufasa sings that being king is an obligation, not a license for fun, while Zazu chips in with jokes about the perks, and the animals of the Pride Lands sing about their king. So why haven't you heard it? Because James Earl Jones can't sing. They tried. It didn't suit him, so they brought in Ken Page to perform the vocals instead, and immediately hit the real problem. Every child in that cinema knows Mufasa's voice. The second a different one comes out of him, the illusion is gone. So they cut it, and gave that lesson to Mufasa as spoken dialogue instead. The circle of life speech. The melody survived, though. Number 5. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Was almost a comedy number, and there's a second song that nearly went a very different way. In early versions of the film, Can You Feel the Love Tonight was performed entirely by Timon and Pumbaa, not as bookends. The whole thing. A meerkat and a warthog singing the ballad as a comedy number, while Simba and Nala had their romantic reunion silently in the background. Elton John was horrified. It's one of his best compositions, and it was being turned into a gag. He fought to keep it romantic, and what ended up in the film is the compromise. Timon and Pumbaa open and close it, and the actual song belongs to the moment. That decision matters more than it sounds. Can You Feel the Love Tonight won the Academy Award for Best Original Song, and it's still one of the most recognizable things Elton John has ever written. Number 6. The Lion King was almost a nature documentary. Here's the version of this film that nearly got made. The original pitch was, in the crew's own words, Bambi in Africa, not a Shakespearean musical, a realistic documentary-style animated film about lions. Less talking, more actual animal behavior. The harsh reality of life on the savannah drawn. That was the vision of the original director, George Scribner. And when Disney decided to turn it into a full Broadway-style musical with Elton John and Tim Rice, he left the project over it, and the production stayed chaotic. Finished animation kept getting thrown out because the script had changed underneath it. The film missed its Thanksgiving 1993 release entirely. The Nightmare Before Christmas took that slot and got pushed to summer 1994, which everyone said was suicide for animation. Then, 6 months before before release, the 1994 Northridge earthquake shut the California studio, and the animators had to finish the film working from home. In 1994, decades before anyone did that, it made almost $1 billion. Number 7. The elephant graveyard is a crime scene. Now to something the movie shows you and never explains. Elephants do not have graveyards. It's a myth. There's no evidence that elephants traveled to a shared place to die. So look at what's actually on screen. That valley isn't a few old bones. It's skulls, tusks, ribs, and remains. In a concentration far beyond anything natural death would leave. Something killed a lot of elephants in one place. And in this world, elephants aren't animals. They're people. They talk. They're intelligent. They live under a lion monarchy that claims everything the light touches, including their land, which makes them the one group in that kingdom with the size and the numbers to actually challenge a lion dynasty. The film also proves on screen that these kings can weaponize a herd. Scar and the hyenas drive thousands of wildebeest through a narrow gorge on command. That tactic exists in this world, and somebody used it before. And how does Mufasa explain that place to his son? He doesn't. He just says it's forbidden and changes the subject. Number 8. Mufasa let it happen. This one is uncomfortable, and it holds up better than it should. Look at what Mufasa spends his screen time teaching. Not fighting, not strategy, succession and death. That his own reign will end and Simba's will begin. That death feeds the circle. That the kings of the past are watching from the stars and will always be there. That's not a father raising a cub. That's a man preparing a replacement. And when Simba asks whether they'll always be together, Mufasa doesn't promise to protect him. He gives him a method for finding him after he's gone. Then watch the stampede. Mufasa runs into a herd, takes the impact, catches Simba midair and puts him safely on a ledge, and only then climbs towards Scar. The rescue is finished before he dies. He waits years, until Nala has already failed to convince Simba he didn't intervene. He supervised. Number 9. Simba had a son before Kiara. Watch the last shot of the first film. Rafiki holds up a newborn cub and the whole kingdom bows. Now watch the opening of Simba's pride. Rafiki holds up a newborn cub and the whole kingdom bows. They are not the same ceremony, and they are not the same cub. The presentations are staged differently, and the cub at the end of the first film doesn't look like Kiara, because in the 1994 book series The Lion King, 6 New Adventures, that cub isn't Kiara at all. He's Kopa, Simba and Nala's firstborn son. Now, the honest part. Those books were licensed, not written by Disney, and the director of the sequel has said he'd never heard of Kopa, so this isn't canon. But fans point at 2 things in the sequel anyway. Zira offers Kovu to Simba as a pound of flesh, payment for something Simba is owed, which never gets explained. Why a grown king panics the second his daughter is out of sight. Number 10. Timon and Pumbaa were his parents. And here's the one that'll actually get you. We file them under comic relief. Look at what they actually do. They find a dying child in a desert, drive off the vultures, carry him out of the sun, give him water, and stay with him until he wakes up. They don't ask what happened. They don't ask who he is. They take him home. Then they teach him how to eat. There is a scene of Timon preparing food and showing a small boy how to put it in his mouth. And the montage that follows isn't a friendship montage. It's a growing up montage. He gets bigger next to them. The Lion King 1.5 fills in the rest, and it's all parenting. Timon chasing him away from the edge of a waterfall. And then, at the end, 2 small animals with no stake in a lion war walk into that war anyway, against a starving pride and an army of hyenas. For a kid who isn't their species, there's no biological reason for any of it. They raised him. So tell me, had you ever thought of them as his parents? Let me know in the comments. And that's it. Which one surprised you the most? A theory or a tiny detail? Let me know in the comments. If you want the next part, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed, because we're uncovering even more secrets next time.